Hi, I am Swarnabha and I am from Kolkata. I am here to share some knowledges of music with you, and this is the tutorial one for that. The enrichment of the Indian classical music really admires us. This is probably the world's most elaborate musical system because its richness with different notes, different ragas, different tals, its variations, all these have no comparison with Indian classical music. The language of music is same all over the world. A foreigner may listen to an Indian sad song and he or she may start to cry because the musical note speaks everything, not the words. So we should learn the musical notes very minutely and very perfectly. There are basically 12 notes, 5 minor notes and 7 major notes. The major notes are sa, re, ga, ma, pa, dha, ni, and sa, which is of the higher octave. And the minor notes are re, ga, ma, dha, and ni. I will just show you the different notes by singing. First I will sing sa. That is the major starting note of an octave. Sa. This is sa. And if you play a single note, it will sound like this. Sa, sa. Then I will just follow up all the major notes. Sa, re, ga, ma, pa, tha, ni. Then I will sing the sa of the higher octave, and I will come to the concept of the octaves later on. But now I'm just saying, I'm singing the sa of the higher octave. Sa, sa, ni, dha, pa, ma, ga, re, sa. So these are the major notes, and now I will sing all the minor notes, 5 minor notes. This is sa. It has no minor note. So this is sa. Then I will go to the minor of re. Re. Then I will move on to the minor of ga. Ga. Then I will move on to the ma, minor of ma. Ma. Next I will move on to pa, and there is no minor of pa. Pa. This is pa. And dha and ni has its minor notes. So this will be dha, ni. This is minor ni. Ni. Sa. Again, a sa of the higher octave. Sa. sa ni dha pa ma ga re sa, sa re ga ma pa da ni sa, sa ni dha pa ma ga re sa. These are the minor notes. This is just the basic concept of notes, 12 major notes. What is the primary thing to be learned to start the singing lesson? Next, we will learn about the octaves. Octaves are the intervals between one pitch and the another pitch with half or double its frequency. There are basically 3 octaves: the lower octave, the middle octave, and the higher octave. Generally, a song starts from the middle octave and then it touches the notes of the higher octave, and sometimes it touches the notes of the lower octaves. Here is the layout of a musical keyboard, and as you can see that the first reed is denoted as C, and then eventually it is named as D, E, F, G, A and B, and it is nothing but just the convenience. The first set from C to B is denoted as lower octave, and then the next set is denoted as the middle octave, and the set next to that is denoted as higher octave. With respect to the definition, if we double up the frequency of a note of a middle octave, then it will touch the note of the higher octave. And if we half down the frequency, then it will touch the notes of the lower octaves. Now we will learn about the most important Indian classical music instrument, that is tanpura. It accompanies both the stage performance and the practicing of the Indian classical music. This is a long-necked plucked string instrument found in various forms in Indian music. It does not play the melody, but rather supports and sustains the melody of another instrument or singer by providing a continuous harmonic burden or drone. Generally, a tanpura comprises of 4 strings, but 5 and 6 strings tanpuras are also used according to the purpose. The combined sounds of all the strings creates harmonic resonances that supports and blends with the external tones of the soloist. The resonance is so majestic that there will not be a single tone or note which will fall outside the range of that resonance in that specific scale. The shape of the tanpura somewhat resembles sitar, but it has no frets as the strings are always plucked at their full lengths. The different parts of the tanpura are the tuning pegs, which are at the top of the tanpura, and these are used to tune the strings of the tanpura. The strings are connected with the pegs, and the tabli is called the lower frontal part of the tanpura. The beads are present at the lowermost part of the tanpura, and which are used for the fine tunings, and the threads are there over the bridge, which are used to increase the vibration of the strings when the strings are plucked. And the tumba is the lower back part of the tanpura, which is a bulged part, and this is made of gold. And the gul is the junction between the lower part of the tanpura and the dand, which is the main body of the tanpura. The 4 strings tanpuras are used maximally, and from the left of my side, we used to count the strings, and from left, the very first string is tuned to pa of a scale. Like I have tuned to the C scale, C major, and it is tuned to pa. This is the very first string from my side and the leftmost string, and this is counted as 1, first string, and this is tuned to pa, like C. This is tuned to pa. Then the next 2 strings, that is second and third, the two strings are tuned to sa of the higher octave. So like see, exactly these are tuned to the sa of the higher octave. And the fourth string, that is the last string, is tuned to sa of the middle octave. This is sa of the higher octave and this is sa of the middle octave. Sa, sa. So let's check once the notes of the strings. This is pa, 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 and this is sa, sa. This is also sa, sa, and this is sa of the middle octave. Sa, sa. Now, I will just tell you about the rhythm of plucking the strings. The process of playing the tanpura is very simple, and the rhythm pattern generally remains constant, but the tempos may vary along with the tempo of the song. So let's take the rhythm of the plucking. This is pa, and then sa, and again sa of the middle octave. So it is not constantly played. At first, the pa is played, but before playing the sa of the higher octave, we give a gap. And then we just pluck the three strings, that three sas together, like pa, gap, then sa, 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 again pa, then again sa, sa, sa. In this way, there is a major gap between pa and sa of the higher octave, and the rest strings are plucked together. That is without a less interval of time. So let's check how it sounds. In this way, we used to pluck the strings. Another important thing what we need to keep in mind is the way of plucking. Sometimes what people used to do, they used to pluck the strings in this way. In this way, that is, the fingers remain horizontal. But this is not the ideal way of plucking the strings. We should keep the finger in a 45-degree angle with the horizontal, and we should pluck the strings then with the corner of the finger, that is by this portion only, not by the middle portion. So by this portion we will pluck the string in this way. The sound gets much more clear if we pluck the strings in this way. A constant resonance gets created. So, as a conclusion, we can say that in Indian classical music, Tanpura is like the earth under our feet. She carries us, but we don't used to notice that most of the time. In Indian classical music also, without the resonance of these four strings, the Indian classical music will become baseless. That's why it's must to learn the playing of a Tanpura. Otherwise, the learning process of the Indian classical music cannot be initiated. But if you don't have Tanpura, that is a manual Tanpura, in your home, then don't worry. In the present time, there are so many good Tanpura apps like Tanpura Droid, and you can find it in the Google Play Store, and that will also support your learning process of Indian classical music. So, in the next video, we will learn the different processes and techniques of training and practicing a voice, and I hope that this will help you to enrich your voice. So thanks for today. See you in the next video.